Okay, I'm going to show y'all how to get blue smoke really easy without burning a whole bunch of unnecessary wood. And I'm going to get straight to the point. I'm not going to waste your time. And hopefully afterwards y'all stick around and y'all watch the rest of the video. Okay, so if you're smoking and you get dirty smoke, and you have a lot of people, they burn a fire and they get it pre-burned. I'm going to show y'all a trick. Just get one of these little chimney smokers. Get whatever wood you smoke with, and I only smoke with mesquite, so I like to buy these smaller cuts right here. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 of those, stick them down my little chimney, buy natural lump charcoal, the same wood that you're going to be smoking with, so I get mesquite. Put it in here, take a MAP gas torch, light it, get it burning, and then just let it burn. And then whenever your temperature starts to come down, you don't do this prematurely, you need to time your cook. So if you could get about an hour, hour and a half before you have to add more fuel to your box, then you know in about 45 minutes you're going to need to come out here and start this and get this burning. And that way, whenever this is burning for 15-20 minutes, you can just open up your box and dump it in. Your wood is already charred, your coals are already going, and then it doesn't affect your temperature inside your box at all. It just keeps on rolling. So the reason why I started doing this is because of when I first started smoking. Now here's the story about what led me to do this, if you guys are still in the video. Okay, what led me to do this when I first started smoking food, I didn't know about clean smoke, dirty smoke. I didn't know white smoke was really acidic, and it was really like char, like it just leaves a bad aftertaste of acidity in the meat, and I didn't know that. And I thought the more smoke the better. So what I would do is I would take whole wood and throw it in there and just let it billow this white smoke. And then at first it's like, oh, that's so good and smoky, and then eventually it's just like, man, that's terrible. You could have maybe a meal of it, but if you cook a brisket and you want to eat that, you know, if you want to make tacos with it, then you want to make baked potatoes with it, then you want to make chopped beef sandwich with it, then just do a brisket with it, you're not going to want to, because it's so acidic and nasty. Like, it just, you can't handle that. At least I can't, and my friends and family couldn't. I could never figure out why. Then I started figuring out what blue smoke was, and white smoke, dirty smoke, you know, clean smoke. Well, blue smoke is clean smoke. So when you first start burning your wood, it's going to be letting off all those gases, and it's going to be burning all the gases and everything off there, and it's going to be very ashy and acidic, and that is bad smoke. That's dirty smoke. You want the nice blue smoke. So after the wood's been burned and charred down, it lets that nice little smoldering blue smoke off. And in fact, I got 2 racks of ribs on here right now, and we're at 250, and you can barely even see the smoke rolling out of here. That's how clear the smoke is, but it's blue smoke. That's clean. That's the smoke you want. So I didn't know that at the time, right? So then eventually I learned that you need blue smoke, you need clean smoke, and that's what gives you that nice subtle flavor of smoke without being overpowering, like, ugh, this is so like not enjoyable. So then what I found out what people would do is they would have two pits, and they would put their wood in one pit and they would burn it. And then when it come time to add to the box, they would shovel out of here and throw it in their hot box. But that requires a lot of wood. I mean, you have to pretty much have a fire burning almost the whole time you're going. So you're constantly feeding logs and feeding charcoal in this fire, trying to keep it going and having the stuff broken up. Because if you have a whole log, you have to break that log up enough to have coal to be able to throw in there. So then I got the idea, well, why don't I just start using lump charcoal instead? So I started using, well, actually, let me back up. I started using briquettes. So I was like, let me put briquettes and let me pre-burn the wood with briquettes. So that's what I would do, so that way I could kind of keep the cost down some. But that was still expensive. So then I was like, okay, well, what else can I try? So then I was like, well, let me get natural lump charcoal. Because briquettes, if you don't know what briquettes is, what natural lump charcoal is they put these big old huge silos, and they put the wood in this massive huge silo, and they burn the wood with no oxygen. So all the gas and vapors escape, but no oxygen gets in there, so it doesn't ignite. And then whenever it's done burning, they open it up and they dump everything out. And then you get the big, huge pieces of wood that are natural, that are just burned down. So all the gases and vapors are gone. All the powder and all the dust and all the residue that's left over, that's what they make briquettes out. They take that and they mix it with wheat flour and they pack them together, and that's how you get briquettes. So you have a lot of ash that comes off of there, and a lot of unnecessary stuff in your fuel for your food, so it could give it a different flavor. Not a bad flavor. That's what you barbecue with, is briquettes normally, and it gives it a good flavor. But when you're smoking, you don't want a briquette flavor. You want the wood flavor. So anyway, so that led me to go, let me buy natural lump charcoal. So then I started doing natural lump charcoal, and I always started with my little chimney, charcoal chimney, little chimney starter. And then that got me the idea. Well, what if I start it in here, right, and put some logs in there, get it burning and get the temperature where it needs to be. But then what if I just put some logs in here with more natural lump charcoal, light that about 20 minutes out from needing to add to it, let it burn for 20 minutes, get nice and cold up, and then dump it. And that's what led me to this trick. So now I don't ever have a problem with heat fluctuation, because when you add fresh charcoal, fresh lump, or fresh wood in here, it's going to smolder, then it's going to ignite, then it's going to flare up. So if you don't have enough oxygen, it's going to smolder and smolder and smolder and smolder. You're going to get a lot of dirty smoke, just a lot of dirty smoke until it burns down enough. You open it up, get too much air, it's going to ignite, it's going to flare up, you're going to get a flame, and what's going to happen is it's going to spike your temperature, and you're going to get a high spike in your temperature. So if you do it like this, you have constant, steady temperature, you have clean smoke, and you have less waste of your fuel, of your wood and your charcoal whenever you're actually cooking and your food. So that's just, and one of these, the way I cook, the way I do my vents on my firebox and my stack, one stack of this right here will last me about an hour and a half. So this will last me about an hour and a half. So a bag of charcoal, depending on how long you cook, natural charcoal, lump charcoal, and then your wood, depending on what style of wood you get, is depending on how much you'll need for your cooks. Something like this I can burn all night with. So if I'm cooking a brisket, a pack of that mesquite and a pack of this, I'll cook a brisket on that, no problem. Pork shoulder, no problem. I can't do 2 cooks with it, but this is my second batch of ribs with the same bag and the same stack of wood that I bought. And the stacks of wood I get, they're not very big, so it goes a long way. Depends on how you set your stack up and everything. And like I said, if you know how to get your pit to hold its temperature, which if you're smoking after about a month or so, you should pretty much know how to control your temperature. But if you're having a problem with flare-ups and cool downs and dirty smoke till it cleans up to clean smoke and you don't know the difference, this is the difference and how to go about doing it. So I just want to make a video on that because it's something I struggled with for a while, and it's just something I wanted to pass on to other people to hopefully help them out. Anyways, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, guys.